I am uncomfortable with my boyfriend's girl best friend. I feel crazy. My boyfriend, M24, and I, F24, have been in a long-distance relationship for 8 months now, with the distance ranging from 2 to 5 hours depending on where he's working. In the beginning, he was a wonderful, respectful, and charming partner, but lately things have felt rocky. There are times when I feel like he dismisses my feelings, but that's not the main issue at hand. One of the biggest sources of my concern is his female best friend, F24. They've been friends since preschool, and their relationship has always been close. Her brother is also one of his best friends, so the three of them have essentially grown up together. Initially, I didn't think much of it. I've had male best friends in the past and fully understand that platonic friendships between different genders exist. However, there were little things that started to bother me, like when he casually referred to her as attractive. While I understand that acknowledging someone's attractiveness doesn't necessarily mean there are feelings involved, it still made me uncomfortable. I expressed my feelings to him, and he was understanding and apologetic, assuring me that he wasn't romantically interested in her in any way. Despite this, their close bond continues to make me uneasy. When he's working 5 hours away from me, he often goes out to bars with her and their friends, sometimes just the two of them. He told me that people sometimes assume they are a couple, but he brushes it off, saying it's just because they've known each other for so long. They also go to lunch together frequently, and he occasionally gives her rides. He's always been transparent about his whereabouts, constantly updating me, which I do appreciate. Even his mother once made a comment about how they've been friends since they were crawling around on the floor, which I took as reassurance that nothing was going on. But despite this, certain things still don't sit right with me. A significant instance was when he invited me to his work Christmas party. I was excited until I realized I wouldn't be able to attend due to my weekend work schedule. Instead of just going alone, he told me that he was bringing his female best friend. That made me feel insecure. I shared my concern with him, mainly worrying about how people might perceive their relationship at the event. He reassured me that he had taken her to these parties before, and no one thought anything of it. I tried to let it go, but it still lingered in my mind. Then came the vacation situation. One night during a FaceTime call, he casually mentioned that he was going on a 9-day tropical vacation with his family, his female best friend, her other female best friend, his male best friend, and his male best friend's girlfriend. What stung the most was that earlier in our relationship, he had told me that I would be going on this trip with him and encouraged me to get my passport. I had expressed financial concerns and asked him to let me know when they were buying tickets so I could plan accordingly. However, I never received an update, and as time passed, I forgot about it. When he suddenly told me he was going without me just a few weeks before the trip, I felt hurt and excluded. When I brought it up, he insisted he had told me about it, but I had no memory of it. I didn't want to argue, so I let it go. Adding to my discomfort, before leaving for the trip, he mentioned that his female best friend had helped him pick out clothes for the vacation. It stung because that was something I would have loved to do for him, even from a distance. When I expressed my feelings, he became visibly upset, almost hurt, and reassured me that it was nothing more than a friendly gesture. He continued to insist that she was like a sister to him, and I, once again, tried to brush my concerns aside. While he was on vacation, he made an effort to keep me updated, sending me pictures and texting frequently, which I appreciated. However, when I saw some of the pictures, I felt uneasy. In some of them, he and his female best friend were standing closer than I would have liked. There was one picture where her head was resting against his chest and another where he had his arm wrapped around her front, while she placed her hand on his arm. To me, these photos looked like they belonged to a couple. I brought this up to him, expressing my concern that people might assume they were together rather than him and me. To my surprise, he was very understanding and apologetic, but we didn't have time to discuss it further at the moment. Another moment that bothered me was when he told me about how he hypes up his female best friend and her friend when they feel unattractive. He tells them that they could walk outside and get any man they want. The thing is, when I express insecurities, he doesn't react the same way. Instead of hyping me up, he gets frustrated and tells me to be more confident. That difference in treatment hurt me. I told him how I felt, but he compared it to how I hype up my female friends. I didn't know what to say to that, so I just let it go, even though it still lingered in my mind. One thing that also weighs heavily on me is the fact that I haven't even met this girl. There were a couple of times when we were supposed to meet, but it never worked out. Once, we were supposed to meet when I was visiting him, but we ended up staying at his parents' house longer than expected. Another time, I was driving down to see him, but my car broke down, and I couldn't make the trip. Meanwhile, I have met his male best friend, who is also her brother, and we got along well. What makes me uneasy is that she has never tried to reach out to me, follow me on social media, or even attempt to get to know me. My friends and family find that odd and say it's strange that someone so close to him hasn't made an effort to acknowledge his girlfriend. As if that wasn't enough, he recently told me that he's planning to buy a house soon, and she might be one of his potential roommates. That made my heart sink. I don't want to be the controlling girlfriend who tells him to cut off a lifelong friendship, but I also don't feel comfortable with this level of closeness. I love him and I want to make our relationship work, but I also feel insecure, uncomfortable, and, at times, like a second choice. I don't know how to bring this all up without sounding overly jealous or irrational. I need understanding, and I need him to acknowledge my boundaries in this relationship. I plan to talk to him once he returns from vacation, but I have no idea what to say or how to approach the conversation without making him upset. Am I in the wrong? How do I express my feelings in a way that fosters understanding rather than conflict? I just want to feel secure in our relationship, but right now I don't.